Hey guys, welcome back to another What If here. I just want to say sorry for this being late. I've just kind of been running through just a load of what ifs in my head. Or what if of this scenario, which is what if Kurama was nicer. Part 1, which is obviously a new one. Anyway. So yeah, as I was saying, I was running through many different what ifs in my head and time had just kind of flown by accidentally, and so I had now recording it now. So anyway, oops. Oh well. Anyway, let's get into this what if. The QB attack / Ninth House attack would still very much happen like in canon, but at the age of 4, just after he had gotten kicked out of the orphanage, a random, kind of intoxicated ninja had picked Naruto up and had pretty much cut across his eyes, pretty much making Naruto blind as a crowd would start to form. As obviously they would hear a cry of pain, the Ambu would immediately be obviously rushed there, and so would the Okage, as the Ambu would obviously tell him that something, obviously, like a cry of pain, and it sounded like Naruto, so he would immediately bolt up and get dressed to get that, as the Ambu would, being Kakashi, had promptly killed the person, as there was just blood, there was just blood coming out from his eyes, as Naruto had passed out from the pain, as he had opened Naruto's eyes to see what damage there was, and safe to say he wouldn't be seen again, or that's what Kakashi had thought, as just annoyed him, as when the Okage got there, and could obviously he'd seen that in Dog's hand, as in Dog's hands, as he'd go dog report, as Kakashi would say that that there was a cry of pain, or what he could guess, as once he'd come here he'd seen Naruto with blood coming out of his eyes, he'd promptly, in a kind of rage, it's like a guess, I'd killed the person right here being next to his feet. And it's like, what about Naruto? It's like, well, he's blind, Okage-sama, as that would hurt deeply. The villagers would promptly started going, yes, the beast can't see, for the Hokage had immediately shut them up and told the Ambu all around them to arrest everyone there and to send them to Ibiki, for obviously to tell Ibiki to have his fun, Ibiki and Anku to have their fun with them, which the villagers and some ninjas had immediately paled, knowing just who the Okage had sent them to. As they would try and plead, as the Okage didn't care. They just tried celebrating, the loss of someone's eyesight that wasn't going to go over well with him. He'd then go, he'd take Naruto into his arms, as he'd tell Dog to come along with him, as Dog and another Anbu, being Cat, would follow him. Obviously, Cat just being the Okage's, being pretty much the only one that really didn't have anything besides guarding the Okage, so he kind of just followed. As in Naruto's mindscape, Naruto had woken up to now being able to see again, as he was wondering, was that just a dream, and like he didn't remember going to sleep in the sewer. As he'd sniff and start, well, it doesn't smell, but where am I? As you then hear a voice saying, come here, follow my voice. As Naruto would promptly do that. As you then see a giant, who then, after a while of walking, would enter a giant room with bars at the end. Naruto would walk close to the bar as you'd stop a couple of feet away from the bars, then a girl would come close. It's not to be confused as they'd go, excuse me, miss, do you know where I am? As the random girl would just simply giggle and go, well, Naruto, what would call, well, we are in your mindscape. It's not go, my mindscape, what's that? In other words, we're in your mind. You'd lost your eyesight and had taken a lot of pain, so it seems like the loss of your eyesight and the incredible amount of pain had allowed you access to, well, see me. As Naruto go, what do you mean? Who are you? It's like, well, you would know me as the Kurama Kitsune, as Naruto the nine-tailed fox, but what about that? As you look at Naruto, and obviously you would know that Naruto probably wouldn't know anything about her, or obviously she wasn't even planning on seeing Naruto in her kind of humanoid form. She was planning on seeing Naruto for the first time in her giant fox form, though having a glimpse of just what he'd been through had promptly stopped her from doing that. She'd very much guessed that the boy didn't need more trauma than what he had already suffered, and that was only a glimpse. And so she'd go, as I said, on the Kurama Kitsune, although yes, I know I don't look like a fox with 9 tails, I can reassure you, Naruto, that I very much am. As they would kind of talk for a little bit more, just on chat, but then Naruto would go, well, you said that I was blind, what do you mean by that? It's like, I can clearly see. It's like, well, for one, Naruto, you can obviously see in your mindscape. It would be pretty stupid if you couldn't actually go, yeah, you're right there, I guess. It's like, well, you are only young after all, you're only 4, so I could understand. And for the second one, yes, you are blind, though once the hospital you're coming in, well, the doctor stops prodding about your eyes and can promptly regenerate them, though there is going to be a slight catch, so that's not to go, what is it? Well, obviously they'd be better than your human eyes were, but they'll most definitely be like either a different colour entirely, or maybe a shade or two darker or brighter. I'll try and match them as close as possible, but they'd probably be brighter, like than what your eyes originally were, and well, they'd possibly also be slitted like mine are. It's not, well, that's fine by me. As long as I can see, I don't care. Soon knows it'll go, well, okay then, as I said, once they stop prodding about your eyes, about, start prodding about your eyes, I'll be able to start work on it. As Naruto does, they would once again talk about some random stuff, more so just, I don't know, just about random stuff. More so the QB explaining kind of what had happened 4 years ago and how she's still inside of him. Though she'd keep who his mother, well, she'd tell Naruto who his mother was, but she'd keep who his father was, though he'd say that his father was the one that sealed her inside of him. So just give enough a hint so that when either the Hokage or someone else had told him that the fourth Hokage had sealed the fox inside of him, he'd promptly figure out who his father was. And, well, yeah, she'd also try to tell Naruto that, obviously being Agent Shirky, he'd probably take on some attributes of, the animal. So she would obviously say, as an example, my sister, my sister Matatabi, she's a giant two-tailed cat. Her Jinchuriki would take on, say, a more feline thing, so she'd probably be napping where it's nice and warm, and say, when you first wake up, you'll probably have maybe a cup of water, or obviously the grown-ups may have either tea or coffee. But the Jinchuriki of my sister, my two-tailed sister, would be, when she or he woke up, her Jinchuriki would promptly drink milk instead. Also, obviously, she'd get she'd also be able to, she'd be more flexible, and she'd also have the ability to spit blue flame. So any fire style jutsus she would do, they'd be blue instead of the standard reddish orange fire. Naruto would nod and then ask what jutsus was. I would kind of stop explain for a bit and explain what jutsus were, what chakra was, genjutsu, and a lot of other stuff. And also kind of what his last name meant, Uzumaki. Which Naruto was probably surprised that he was from a clan that is now kind of dead, though. And it should explain about how his clan kind of, or at least where they were from, got destroyed, though the Uzumaki clan, she could probably guess, was probably far from being destroyed, or something along that line. So she'd known that Uzumaki's, scattered across the elemental nations. And that there was probably at least maybe 10, 20 Uzumakis left in the world, though she didn't know the exact number, obviously. And, she'd then kind of explaining through 1 to 8 tails, skipping her two-tailed sister, which she'd already explained to Naruto what the two-tailed Jinchuriki would get, and explain what the 1 tails all the way through to 8 would get. Yeah. And it's Naruto go, well then what would I get from this? I don't exactly know, as your mum and your mum's and my first the first Jinchuriki of me both didn't really ever use my chakra, and so I never really found out what would kind of be granted to them. I would definitely guess. well, I'd definitely say your healing rate is possibly from me and slightly from just like being born from Agent Cherokee. Is not go. What do you mean by that? Well, unlike my first Cherokee, whose children never exhaust my chakra, though it could be down to possibly this or something else. But when your mum was pregnant with me, you was promptly absorbing a lot of my chakra, so it's safe to say that. Say when you awaken your chakra or unlock your chakra, in other words, which is obviously the energy that flows inside of you, but once you say kind of unlock it, or more so unlock the ability to control the chakra energy that flows through you, you'd probably find that you may only be able to use a small amount of what you actually have. Though it'd feel like, say, like, you know, like it may, like, you may not realize, but you've obviously there's 8 inner gates in a human body. There's not because the human body can't handle all, you know, like the sheer amount of chakra the body can produce. So there's 8 gates to prevent someone from overloading that network. Though if someone obviously were to activate all 8, they would have a chance of dying, as obviously the load on that network would be too high and could possibly die. But you have so much chakra for being so young that your chakra network just couldn't or wouldn't be able to handle your full amount, and thus you've kind of subconsciously made more gates, though those additional gates obviously would be destroyed upon being open. So once you're able to control more, a gate would probably open, and you'd probably notice after a good night's sleep your chakra is probably, like, say results probably like, say, like, you know, grew, say, like by 10 times the amount or something like that. But yeah, I'd probably say your true chakra reserves are probably somewhere around the likes of maybe the 3 to 4 tails. So yeah, you do have a lot of chakra, though you just can't use it, as your body is currently not used to even really using any of it. So yes, and we'll fix that once you are allowed to leave the hospital, though. It's not kind of not as should go well. I guess in that well, I should go well. Go well now. It seems like after all this talking, you know, it seems like I can finally work in your eyes, as Nato would kind of nod and go, well, okay then, do I need to do anything? Because she'd go, no, your body's currently asleep, so you don't have to do nothing, because Nato would simply nod as, like around another 5 minutes later, she would open her eyes again and look at Nato and say, well, you know, done, you'll be able to see again, though obviously, they should tell Naruto what Naruto could now obviously see. That he'd be able to see, say, like fast moving objects a bit to a lot more clear, and we'd be able to see further, though channeling chakra would to his eyes would increase that, though she warned him not to do that until, you know, until he had gotten good enough chakra control. Otherwise, you know, you could blow his eyes out from the sheer amount of chakra that Naruto has. Naruto would go and like shake his head up and down violently. Let's go around now then, I guess. Not quite sure what I should guys not go around. Aren't you kind of from a, what's it called? Kit something? I should go, you mean Kitsune is not right? Yeah, that. As school, well, I guess technically, and well, if you look at it then well, I guess you may have, say, like a transformation ability. So you could, and if that's true, then anytime, say, you do transformation, it would be real, isn't it? What do you mean? Well, think of it this way. So, well, first I have to tell you something that's slightly related, which is the clone jutsu, the basic one, which is just a simple illusion, so you could walk through it and nothing would happen. It's not okay. And then there's the basic transformation, which everyone knows of, which is simply, say, that illusion or clone jutsu, but placed upon yourself, so you can make yourself, say, look like a cat, but obviously, say, though you look like a cat, you very much still got a human body, and so, say, you run good string, between their legs, and they'd be on the floor. Isn't that not that, but you, on the other hand, if you were to, say, transform into that cat, well, that would be your body. Your body is the cat. So if somebody tried to swing, obviously, say, do the same thing to you, nothing would happen, as their leg would just go through thin air. Like, you'd be the cat itself. Or, say, if you transform into a bird, once you'd learn how to fly, you'd be able to fly. And it's not go, oh, that's cool. That's awesome. Like, when will I be able to do that? It's like, well, once you've gotten better chakra control, which once you're out of the hospital, we can start training in chakra control. As Naruto would nod. As another hour would go by, as Naruto would, as they would either talk, but then kind of fell into kind of a comfortable silence, as then Naruto would realise it started fading, as Naruto would kind of start freaking out, which would kind of jolt the QB out of her thoughts, as I'd go, what's going on? Like, I'm disappearing. I said, calm down, Nadkin, you're just waking up. And she'd go, what will I be able to see you again? She'd go, well, yeah, but also, if you ever want to talk to me, just think about what you want to talk to, and I'll be able to, hear it and talk back, okay? It's not a nod. And it's just before he disappeared, he would go, oh, and what's your name? She'd kind of smile a bit, and she'd go, my father, or at least the person who I consider who's like a father, told me my name was Kurama. It's not to go, Kubi-chan, I guess talk to you later then, as you then vanished. As Kurama would simply think, old man, I think he's the one you were on about all those years ago. Yeah, he must be the one. But don't worry, I'll look after him and make sure he becomes someone strong, and though he may be strong, he'll be humble and nice. And I'll make sure no one hurts him again. As in the real world, to kind of wake up to seeing slight slits of light, and Naruto then touches Mai's eyes, kind of and feel bandages. Naruto would then kind of find where the bandage starts and start unraveling it. And then after doing that, Naruto would slowly open his eyes as he'd be looking up at the ceiling. So he'd go, as Naruto go, I guess it wasn't a dream, as you'd then hear Kurama's voice as I go, well, of course not, kid. It wasn't, no, I can't blame you. It's not go, Kurama, yeah. Just startled. Yeah. This Naruto then kind of moved to sit up as he'd go, I'm pretty sure shit, like, isn't it night time right now? But why can't I see like it's almost daylight? As you go, I guess that's another feature of your eyes. Due to the fact it's kind of made out of, well, obviously because I'd repaired them, pretty much gave you new eyes. You've kind of obviously got more animal eyes. Or in other words, so you can obviously, they should still focus as in human ones, so you should still be able to see very much up close. But obviously animals tend, especially in like foxes, tend to hunt at night, and so you obviously your night vision, obviously, so obviously you will be able to see a lot clearer at night. I just now would simply say, okay, as you'd look over at the Hokage, which was just kind of there, most slightly like dozing off. I just could see the head slightly bobbing as he does not go, Chi-Chi, are you awake? Because he would immediately snap his eyes, the Hokage would immediately snap his eyes open and fling his head immediately to the left of him as he'd begin, Naruto, you're awake, because then be staring at Naruto as he'd go, we didn't exactly know what to say because obviously it's currently pitch black, though the only thing he can see is like two kind of eyes staring at him. It's not yeah, Chi-Chi, what is it? What's wrong? Is it go your eyes that glowing is going to go, well, going to kind of go, well, of course that glowing, that's the only way, that's, and after effect of being able to see better at the dark, being a bit on the sassy side as dude, so, well, that go, well, guess it could also be creepy though, couldn't it? As going to go, well, you could definitely scare people at night, that's for sure. As the only thing they would see is just two glowing blue eyes staring at them out of nowhere. So I'd go, sounds like a idea for a prank. I should go, well, I think you should focus back on. But as it go, right. As the Hokage would kind of like stumble and whack the silent bed as it go, so he'd kind of slightly with pain run through his leg, go over and turn on the room's light. So he wouldn't just see two floating blue eyes staring at him. As he turned the light on, as Naruto immediately closed his eyes. From the kind of sheer brightness, like all of a sudden, as Naruto slowly opened his eyes again to get them adjusted to the now bright room. It's having walls painted white doesn't exactly help So yeah, anyway. Obviously, here is it. I was just being told by the doctors that Naruto's guaranteed blind. That is like the only way for him to regain his sight would be to go through an eye transplant. As he'd said, well, we'd have to ask the boy in the morning, which the doctor had kind of nodded in agreement and left. But as it goes, can you see me now? Is not go out. Yes, GTI. Yes, GTI can. As it go, how? The member that was with you said that you was meant to be like blinded. Even the doctor that examined your eyes had said that you was practically blind. It's like maybe I've just got just very strong healing abilities, as Kage would think that you have Naruto. Though in his head he would think that what's going on. Like the Kyuubi had never shown signs of being able to regenerate eyes before. Though then again, Kushina or Mito never exactly lost an eye, so how would they know? And plus, if they did, they'd probably stick to having lost that eye, so yeah. Like, heck, they'd probably even fight blind if they had to. Yeah, if they very much had to. And somehow they probably very much would have. So yeah. Knowing just how stubborn Uzumaki's were, once they kind of once they were set on a path, that it was very difficult to get them off of it. So yeah. And well, he'd go around that how does this seem alright? I'll leave you here as Naruto would kind of look downside as he'd go, what's wrong Naruto? My boy is Naruto, well, as like the reason why I was attacked tonight was because no, actually, Hokage would look at her going, Naruto, why are you out late tonight? Like you should have been in bed in the orphanage. It's like, well, I was kicked out, Gigi. The person at the orphanage said that a demon doesn't deserve a bed or something like that, and then kicked me out. His son is like, well, now how about you sleep here for tonight, and in the morning I will assign you an apartment. I will find you a apartment / house where you can live. Okay, it's not to nod. Then ask, well, could you stay with me? It's like, why not? You're fine. No, they will attack you in the hospital. You go, please, just in case. Just go, well, I can't, but but I've got 2 army members that will be quite happily to watch over you, Naruto, as they then kind of fade in, making their presence known as Hokage going, now you two look, like watch Naruto as he sleeps and make sure none dare tries anything against him. Got it? As they go, hi Hokage, for disappearing again. Though Naruto could somewhat sense that they were still in the room and that they were now just either side. Well, one was by the door, while the other one was kind of in the corner of the room nearest to him, just in case somebody obviously tried breaking, even through the door somehow. Well, tried possibly breaking through the window, or dressed up as a nurse and tried poisoning him, something like that. And so, yeah, after the Okage had laughed and Naruto had fallen asleep, 5 attempts on his life that night had been made, and the two Umbu members had kind of, realised that Naruto had, well, obviously, they would have stayed anyway, even if the Okage didn't tell them to, they would have, because it made the most sense to say someone's probably going to come back and try and, hurt him. And, well, yeah, two people tried to poison him, and 3 people tried to outright stab him to death, though none of them never made it that close before either dog or cat had either smelt the poison or had managed to knock the person out. Well, they'd knocked all 5 people out. As the sun would start to rise, as they would take the 5 knocked out people to the Okage, knowing he should be up by now, as he'd be looking through just papers on where Naruto could possibly live, move into. Then out of nowhere, obviously, 2 Umbu with 5 people on the floor would appear in front of him, as he'd go report. It's like, well, Hokage-sama, it seems like Naruto's hunch on somebody trying to attack him was correct, as, well, these 5 people here had tried to kill him in his sleep. 2 had dressed up as a nurse and tried to poison him, whereas the other 3 had just tried either bursting through a window or running through the door and tried to stab him to death, though there was no harm done to Naruto, so you don't have to worry. And breathe out a sigh of relief. Okay then, well, you 2 from this point on will be Naruto's guards, no matter what happens around you. As long as Naruto is safe, that's all what matters. Got it? Instead go, hi Hokage, but what exactly do you mean by that? So do you mean, if there's a fight going on, we're just to ignore it? As he'd go, yes, unless that fight had Naruto in it for some unknown reason, then you'd break it up, but it's your number 1 duty is to protect Naruto, nothing else. So, yes, your number 1 duty is to protect him, though, and possibly to get him food and restock his fridge and whatever he needs. As I'm doubtful people would probably let him into their shops, as they would nod. Should go as he'd then go, well, you're dismissed, go back to Naruto and make sure he's fine. Who knows, maybe someone could be trying to attack him right now, as they'd go, hi Hokage, before disappearing. It's because you just hope Namdi actually was falling asleep now in slight daylight to attack him, though luckily Namdi had bothered to attack him, or try to. And yeah, that's where I'm going to be ending it here, guys. So if you have enjoyed this part, you've enjoyed it, yeah, and next week I'll probably be doing, I think, part 6. Yeah, I think part 6 of What If Naruto Was Turned Into a Girl. So yeah, if you want, so yes, Monday part 6 of that, and Friday would probably be, I think, part 3 or part 4 of What If Naruto Went Into Hiding after being kicked out of the orphanage. So yes, got those 2 to look forward to, or if you want this to be next week instead of the orphanage one, then so be it. Just tell me in the comments if you want to see part 2, and I will make one if it gets, if it's big enough, then yes, I'll make a second one. Anyway, guys, as I said, if you have enjoyed it, like, if you enjoyed it, so much channel, so much just like this, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next whatever video, depending on what I do. And hey, good bye.